Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Xur, his location, random rolls, his inventory, on all that whatnot for May 1st, 2020. We have hit the first day of May, which means it's April Fool's Day. Oh man, I said that out loud and immediately regretted saying it. Anyways, the Xur. He can be found in his regular location on Titan, so just head over to the Titan rig area, make your way over here, and inside this little house here, you can find him here in his regular location. Today, he does have, in fact, a couple of different interesting items, like Monte Carlo, Cara, and of course, Khepri Sting. A lot of interesting stuff I did want to talk about. Moving on to the weapon, we have the Monte Carlo. Returning Destiny 1 exotic, they came in Season of the Undying during Shadowkeep, and is quite necessary for a lot of different melee-based builds, and something you should definitely have if you want to do a lot of these builds. Its main perk, the Monte Carlo method, dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants the chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. So if you're using Insurmountable Skullfort, you just happen to need to get a certain type of melee kill, this allows you to get more of those melee kills. So with Insurmountable Skullfort, if you accidentally use your melee up and you have to wait that whole time for a new one, Monte Carlo basically just brings that back with single clip of this weapon. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many different things you can use this with, all of the different melee-based exotics like Liar's Handshake, Winter's Guile, Worm God Caress, a lot of the other sub-based melee-based things like Dune Marchers. There are so many different things, even in the subclasses. Having faster melee abilities for the Hunter when you're using Celestial Nighthawk, getting more of those knives. If you have a lot of hands-on and you keep getting those knife kills, you get your super back a lot faster. Another example is Code of the Aggressor with Doomfangs. Every ability melee kill will give you more and more super energy, so it's very important to keep getting those ability melee kills, and this just gives that to you. Its other perk is kind of just Swashbuckler plus Grave Robber in one. This weapon gains increased damage for melee kills and kills with this weapon, and melee kills grant ammo for this weapon as well. So it's kind of like 2 perks in one. Pretty good combo for this. Definitely a great weapon if you're doing anything to do with melee. And again, this is not just for people who punch a lot, because punching is quite dangerous, especially in the end game and a lot of times in PvP, but sometimes you need to get your melee ability back for certain reasons, and this gun is perfect for that. And hey, it also has an ornament that I don't have. Moving on to the Hunter exotic, we have Khepri Sting, an exotic that actually is animated. Do you see these legs moving? It's a bit weird. Anyways, the Touch of Venom. Punching somebody with a full melee energy instantly casts Smoke Bomb, and you gain True Sight while in your Smoke Bomb, which means you can see people through walls, even better than the One-Eyed Mask used to have. You can actually see their full outline and silhouette, and your Smoke Bombs deal increased damage. That's 150% normal damage, which you can, I think in some circumstances, kill people with just a Smoke Bomb. I've had a lot of people tell me this is an exotic that you should be using more often in PvP, but I just can't figure it out. I don't know. Something about it just kind of ruins me. As far as the roll goes, primary and strength is exactly what you want for this. Being able to throw those smoke bombs more often to give you more true sight and see people through walls is perfect. Secondary in recovery is also perfect for PvP, so I'd say a very good roll. If only the total stats were higher, this thing would be perfect. So definitely, I would say an above average exotic with a very, very good roll. Moving on to the Titan exotic, we have Severance Enclosure. The very first time any Dawn armor has been sold, I was about to pronounce this, its special perk. Basically, any of the charged melee final blows, as well as any of the finishers, if you're in PvE, will cause a more powerful. Moving on to the Titan exotic, we have the Severance Enclosure. The first time, I believe, one of the Dawn armors have been sold. Its main perk, I was about to pronounce that. Arc, Solar, and Void melee final blows unleash a damaging explosion, and finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius and the damage of the explosion. My personal opinion, in PvE does next to no damage and next to no radius, and oftentimes the times where it does a lot of damage and radius, you're killing a very powerful enemy, and oftentimes if you're doing that, all of the enemies around him are probably already dead. In PvP, just doesn't do enough damage, enough radius to be warranted. It's one of those exotics that as soon as this thing becomes worth it, it just becomes overpowered. So in my opinion, really not that great of an exotic. As far as the roll goes, primary and discipline, not really that great. Secondary and recovery, pretty good to have. I don't really know what I would look for here. Probably a lot more strength, because that's to do with melee stuff. So I'd like to see more melee. So below average roll for a very below average exotic that does not have an ornament, but does color pretty nicely. Moving on to the Warlock exotic, we have the Skull of Dychronic. Its main perk provides additional resistance in Nova Bomb, and Nova Bomb kills grant super energy. Now there was a point in time where you could throw your Nova Bomb and get 5 kills and get your entire super back. It was a whole lot of fun and extremely effective on things like Reckoning, or any time that you have a lot of enemies in one place, and it was just a lot of fun. That being said, it was definitely overpowered, and pretty much all of these super generating exotics like Shards of Galanor, Raiden Flux, Dychronic, Phoenix Protocol, Ursa Furiosa, these were all fantastic exotics and the dominating choices in almost every scenario, so they nerfed a lot of them to the ground. Oh, and my Orpheus Rigs. Oh, rest in peace, my Orpheus Rigs. In the current time, I would say if you got a lot of kills with this, you probably would be getting around half of your super back, so definitely not as good as it used to be. But that being said, getting any amount of super energy back from using your super is still something that's very powerful. A lot of people pump in a lot of intellect just to get your super more often, where these super exotics just do that, but more effectively. Yes, it is not nearly as awesome as it used to be, but technically getting super energy back, especially in things like higher difficulty Nightfalls, is extremely powerful and needs to be respected. As far as the roll goes, primary discipline and mobility is really not that great. Recovery is common for Warlocks, so a very below average roll for a very above average exotic that also has a cool ornament. And that's pretty much it. Make sure you're picking up your 5 of Swords if you wanted to do the higher scoring Nightfalls on the other Nightfalls. Picking up your Invitation of the Nine if you want to get some powerful gear as well as lore. And then finally getting yourself an exotic engram, guaranteeing you any of the world drops that you do not have with a guaranteed high stat roll. So if I got a Worm God Caress, it would probably give me a total stats of 64. Not really that much of a spiky distribution, but you can see you get a very high roll. So you want to be picking up these exotic from these Zur as much as you can so you can get the best versions of exotic. And that's it. That is the end of the video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, any concerns, tips, tricks, or if there's something I forgot, let me know in the comments down below. But that's it. My name is Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one. Got it. Yeah, third time's a charm. Yep.